Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our witnesses for being here for our first South and Central Asia Subcommittee hearing. I look forward to working with the chair in a bipartisan way on the critical issues that we are charged with overseeing. Unfortunately, we are not having a hearing about any of those issues. Instead, this subcommittee is wasting taxpayer time and resources on the fifth such hearing Republicans have held across multiple committees on the so-called Censorship-Industrial Complex. The majority is relitigating a made-up conspiracy theory about a part of the State Department that no longer exists to distract from the dumpster fire foreign policy this administration is pursuing and elevating a serial sexual harasser as their star witness in the process. Mr. Chair, I request unanimous consent to enter into the record 2 articles about the Republican witness Matt Taibbi. The first is a Chicago Reader article entitled, 20 years ago in Moscow, Matt Taibbi was a misogynist a-hole, and possibly worse, and a Washington Post article titled, The 2 Expat Bros Who Terrorized Women Correspondents in Moscow.
Without objection.
This hearing could not be more out of touch with the concerns of everyday Americans. People's retirement savings are being decimated as Trump's arbitrary temper tariffs tank the stock market. They are staring down the barrel of cuts to their Social Security and Medicare because the Republican majority wants to give a tax break to billionaires like Elon Musk, who have deep financial ties to our adversaries. Meanwhile, Trump is siding with Putin against our national security interests and risking the lives of American soldiers in a Signal group chat. I've been to the State Department, and I do have concerns about censorship of the employees who are terrified to say the wrong thing, to say anything, or have the wrong word in their job title and be terminated by an administration that publicly relishes punishing people for their speech. If we want to talk about censorship, we should begin with Trump's unprecedented assault on the First Amendment and rule of law. Here are a few examples that should send shivers down all of our spines. Trump banned the Associated Press from the Oval Office and Air Force One because they kept using the name Gulf of Mexico, something that none of us would have hesitated to do a few months ago. And by the way, the Gulf of Mexico, it was assigned that name at birth. Trump signed executive orders targeting law firms for representing clients that opposed or investigated him, upending the fundamental principle that lawyers should not fear to represent their clients. And most terrifying, Trump ordered ICE agents to arrest and detain Mahmoud Khalil, a green card holder, and snatch off the street a Tufts University student and visa holder, Rumeyse Öztürk, for protesting and writing an op-ed for exercising their right to free speech. I would like to play a video.
Scene of the latest Trump government crackdown on pro-Palestinian students. Plainclothes immigration officers surround a Turkish graduate student, Rumeyse Öztürk. Her screams alerting residents.
Is this a kidnapping?
Her crime, it's unclear, but she co-authored a pro-Palestinian op-ed in a student newspaper.
So now we're raiding college campuses to silence thought and dissent of the students. As you can see, Trump is brazenly weaponizing the government to intimidate and silence any part of American society that disagrees with him. Countering disinformation from hostile foreign powers should not be a partisan issue, yet this administration has crippled our capacity to respond to these threats while aiding, abetting, and amplifying our adversaries' influence operations. The PRC has invested billions in pumping out propaganda, weaponizing the world's largest online disinformation operation to silence critics, discredit lawmakers, and harass U.S. companies who are at odds with China's interests. And Russia maintains a sophisticated and sprawling disinformation apparatus to manipulate American public sentiment to Putin's advantage, even paying conservative influencers to create and amplify pro-Kremlin content. And how has Trump confronted these threats? He shut down independent media broadcasters like USAGM and Radio Free Asia, a move that was actually celebrated in Chinese state media. And he dismantled the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force, which his own administration first created in 2017 to uncover disinformation and propaganda targeting Americans. We should be exploring more real partisan solutions to this pressing national security on behalf of the American people instead of perpetuating cultural wars and divisions. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.